Are we living in peace? Is this world totally immaculate? For some, that is true, but some believe the reverse, myself included. Hello everyone, my name is Ngan, and I'm here to tell you why I think this world is chaotic and how to make it seem less chaotic. Most of us today appear to live in peace, without wars that could be the many past tragedy, where many people left their life, many nations succumbed to endless economic crisis as well as internal conflicts, hardly seeing the happy ending. The majority of us today, at least, living in an independent country, looking forward to a brighter future with advanced technology, fewer people dying on the street, fewer people being stoned from the pursuit of happiness. Moreover, there are some regulations imposed by international bodies to secure the world's stability, as well as ensure human fundamental rights. We seem to live in a comprehensive safety. It is, however, entirely true. What's wrong with this ostensibly perfect structure? Now, let me ask you the question. If this world is indeed in peace, why do many nations have to stay highly cautious by manufacturing mass lethal weapons? Why does military spending still make up many national fortunes? According to the Stockholm National Peace Research Institute, global military spending has plummeted by 2.6% in real inflation-adjusted dollars, reaching an estimated $1,822 billion. Furthermore, it was noted that in 2018, this figure exceeds 90% than the amount in 1988, the period that was supposed to be the climax of the Cold War. That proved the current global military spending is probably the highest since the end of World War II. Countries continue to produce destructive weaponry under the pretext of a precautionary response to terrorism threats. Although acknowledging that this pointless outrage may bring the globe closer to an even more terrible scenario than any wars in the past, given the advance in armament nowadays. And in reality, however, this country just tries to maintain a high position in the global stage in terms of politics and entrenchment of external industrial allies. With the action-reaction phenomenon of nations arming themselves in order to threaten each other, it seems that the vicious circle of nations arming themselves in order to threaten each other, it seems that the vicious circle of pouring money into the armament industry has no end, and resulting in the exponential increase in the up-to-date weapons. It is, however, worse by deliberately making the very instruments used to create the exact social apocalypse that we claim we want to avoid at all costs. To exacerbate the issue, nuclear weapons were added to the game. With this atomic power proliferation, the apocalypse will herald, and we seem to live in an enormous time bomb called Earth, and with only small tornado called conflicts we may be all doomed. Now, here's the question. Is this world such a dreamlike utopia that these nations have nothing better to do than competing on who has more giant bombs? If yes, why do a utopia have many people dragging themselves around for food? Some children not yet receive their proper education, or at least a place to call home. Why do a utopia have many nations unable to move on due to their international debt, which has inhibited their recovery for over 10 years? Funny question. What does $100 billion mean nowadays? It's such a huge cost, you may say. But let's not talk about monetary value here. Let's talk about what's its equivalent we've been producing when it comes to helping those in need. In 1981, UNICEF conducted a campaign to address the significant concern confronted by the poorest 500 million children. This including basic sanitary assistance, primary education, improved hygiene conditions, clean water, food, etc. And this cost $100 billion in total. But did you know that this number is less than 100 B-30 strategic bombers and less than 7,000 cruise missiles that the US plans to use in 1989. Do you know that the cost of 245 Trident II missiles are what it all takes to build a new demand for education in the third world? Unfortunately, nothing has been done, and the tragedy keeps going on day by day. Now, let's forget about this grim reality for a second. What if we start doing something about this? What if we initiate a campaign with members from all over the world? What if we promoted a dreamlike utopia that we all should dream of? We may start the phase one of the campaign by recruiting more members, and we need it to be more pervasive in order to have bigger influence later on. And this will not look like a regular recruitment on the ground that neither requires formal interview nor any CVs. Instead, enthusiasm will play a big role as part of the dream to saving the world and saving ourselves. The scale will not be limited to one specific area, and it will be global, hence everybody can join. And in that respect, each person is a leader, and every single person is free to choose their own way to appeal more supporter. As we're getting more support, we may write articles, newspaper, or merely a status on Facebook, educating people on how catastrophe it is to pouring money into a army rather than human. And with hashtags such as stop the uprising, people need food, not nuclear, etc., we may create a chant where like-minded people do the same, and this will spread through societies, through local authorities, and through administration. With power of every people come from every distant corner of each continent, this campaign may act as a shield protecting the earth from the threat of being exploded by the nuclear sword. As the campaign continues to grow, people may launch peaceful protests with banner and posters all over the place. Some of these minor campaigns may be suppressed, but it will definitely act as a precursor for further movements. What's more, some letters written by citizens against the uprising may be sent to government representatives in the local authorities. With the large amount of these complaining letters, this may reach the government, as they can ignore a group of 10 people, but a group of tremendous amount of civilians may create a tsunami that can sweep out the carefree government that accidentally put their life in danger. Which cannot be ignored, and the government may want to arrange a rendezvous to negotiate with people in our campaign. And this is when we show them the evidence that we gathered from the local news, from international sources, and bring up the most appealing reason to persuade them to spend money on needy people, the current reality, with many people dying for food, some have no homes, children don't have school, and nation in confrontation, intensified confrontation. And close your eyes, just imagine. One day, your government announced that they will put an end to the uprising. All former participants of the armed competition may find a common place to sign a treaty of disarmament. This may be hard, but it will happen. And just like declared in the 2012 event in Washington after the confirmation of having relinquished its 6 nuclear programs. Let us convince the world that we're not playing games, that we have broken those bones down, that we can account for every milligram of material in it. And this is exactly what we did. Of course, the human nature competitive for a high position will still remain, but in other aspects such as better education, better medication, and in that respect, nation will show off the power based on who has happier civilians. And just imagine that you witness non-stop good deal about how the dismantling of weaponry goes. Imagine that money was spent on impoverishing people in far-flung areas. Imagine that homeless have shot up in and children in the third world with adequate educational system. Imagine a world gradually resurrecting after the endless uprising. All may seem surreal, may seem impossible, and may appear to be a silly idea. This is because we're not taking action yet. It's only be real till we really take action. Now, to make this dream come true, we cannot just sit still, stand up, and work together for a peaceful utopia that we are all deserving of. Go for too many centuries of evolution that may return to nothingness just by a push of a button. And go for a brighter future without the threat of being exploded. As John Lennon used to sing in his song, imagine, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. Thank you for your time and attention.